Wow. How do you follow that? Nelsie, I really appreciate you being here. I know it was a challenge for you and your husband who are expecting your third child to drive up here from Florida, but it means a whole lot to me that you're here. Thank you. I'm extremely proud of you. Well, 3 to 4 minutes. That's been the amount of time I've been given for my remarks. And to the students who politely sit in my classroom as I run along on every single class period, can certainly appreciate my need for this time constraint. A distinguished guest of mine, former president of the American Chemical Society and current NTID advisory board member, Dr. Katie Hunt, can surely relate to the need for time constraints, and she will never give a presentation without her pointer that has a timer on it. I'm going to use a technique that's a little bit more primitive to keep my time. Now, my wife and every person at my tables know for a fact that I actually burn the candle on both ends. And you can see I experimented with trying that, but the logistics of hot wax going all over the place didn't make it worth the joke. So I'm just going to keep the one lit. Okay. So I have calibrated this candle to time my talk. But as I do in most of my classes, I'm also using it as a prop, as a demonstration to convey my points. In fact, if this were a class for the benefit of the more visual learners, I would probably be discussing black body radiation, or how at the wick of the candle, the molecular emissions are what's causing the flame to burn blue. But today I'm going to use the candle to also convey my teaching philosophy, which has evolved over many years, but has always been themed around a metaphor from my favorite American philosopher, mathematician, interdisciplinary thinker, Buckminster Fuller. He is the namesake for Buckminster Fullerene, or Buckyball, of course, of nanotechnology fame. I was introduced to Bucky's work by my doctoral advisor, with whom I would often visit nearby Walden Pond to ponder science, life, innovative teaching strategies, and of course, the lives and times of Walden's most famous citizens, Emerson and Thoreau. I would contemplate being a fly on the wall for any of the 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days that Thoreau inhabited his pondside hut. Emerson and Thoreau were known to converse with other local transcendentalists of their time, including Margaret Fuller, who coincidentally is Buckminster Fuller's great aunt. Margaret Fuller is credited with saying that if you have knowledge, let others light their candle at it. Okay. Which, very lucky for me, like 6 degrees of separation, will link my teaching philosophy to this thermodynamic and temporal, because my time is quickly burning up, prop that I have in front of me. If teaching were really as easy as just lighting one candle off another, with a knowledge flame never really extinguishing as it is perpetually passed from teacher to learner. Instead, we have to be creative in our pedagogical approaches. We have to be flexible in our dissemination of material, well-versed in the different learning modes, and sometimes even entertaining to reach the millennial student and allow them to truly take ownership of their learning process. And back to Walden, if I may. Okay. Emerson once told Thoreau that nearby Harvard College had all of the branches of education. And to that, Thoreau responded, all of the branches, but none of the roots. And my apologies to Harvard University, obviously a top-notch institution. But I am fortunate to work at a truly unique place, Rochester Institute of Technology's National Technical Institute for the Deaf, where deaf and hard of hearing students are taught applied knowledge, the roots of their trade, self-advocacy, and lifelong learning skills. NTID's president, Dr. Jerry Buckley, who is in attendance today, often talks about the unique spirit of NTID. And I wonder, Dr. Buckley, Was perhaps NTID built to address Thoreau's call for educational roots? And isn't that part of the spirit of NTID? I certainly think so. I would like to thank the Council for the Advancement and Support of Education and the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching for this unbelievable honor. I would also like to thank my parents, who are both longtime educators, my wife and Wonderwall, Susan, who is a very skilled science professor in of herself, my colleagues, several of whom are carrying the load for me while I'm here, and of course my students, who make it all worthwhile. I thank NTID's president, Dr. Buckley, RIT's associate provost, Dr. Licata, NTID's dean, Dr. Aldersley, and all other valued guests for being here today for their support over the years. I also thank RIT's president, Dessler, and provost Hafner, who could not be here today. Many of the people in attendance today, at one time or another, have caringly cautioned me against the dangers of burning out. And to my lyric quoting chairperson, Dr. Danielle, who I also thank for being here today, I challenge him to identify the lyric that I use to close my remarks. Friends, that's you, Jerry Buckley, Chris Licata, Katie Hunt, Vincent Yo. I do heed your advice concerning the sustainability of my energy and passion for teaching. But then again, I'm not sure that I could approach it in any other way. And in the spirit of giving everything that I have to the benefit of my students, perhaps it is better to burn out than to fade away. Thank you.